So once again, a very warm welcome to all the delegates who've joined us for the technical webinar on selecting the right mask for current COVID situation. We are going through a very difficult time and certain parts of our country are particularly going through a crisis. So my sincere hope is that you and your families are all safe and healthy. I'm Lalita Tekchandani, General Manager, Training and Education, your host for today's session. As most of you know, we have been regularly hosting sessions on topics such as fall protection, confined space, rooftop safety, rescue preparedness, and so on. But with COVID 19 making a comeback and just 1% of our population vaccinated, it is clear that masks will continue to be the most effective safeguard. At the same time, there's absolutely no clarity on which is the best mask. Is it the N95 or the FFP2 or the FFP1? Double masking? What about surgical mask? After all, doctors wear them. Are there any standards that ensure that the mask is performing as it claims to? So many questions and so much confusion. So this time, we decided to focus on our collective savior, that's right, the masks. Now, generally speaking, we look up to American or European standards most of the time compared to ISI standards. We assure you that your views would have changed after today's sessions, which will be in three parts. We will begin with the technical presentation, followed by question and answers. After that, you may go back to the reception and click on the booth or lounge to interact with the Karam associate on specific queries. Before we start the session, I make a humble request to please be generous with your patience in case there's a technical issue at our end. As you can see, we are all working from our homes and we may encounter some challenge with the internet or electricity. Now with that, let me just take a look at, okay, so count going up, but we'll start the session ASAP. Just give me a moment, please, while I share my screen. Right. So the year we are talking about is 1995, when two young entrepreneurs, Mr. Hemant Sapra and Mr. Rajesh Nigam, bootstrapped a small organization in Lucknow with just a single product. Over the next 24 years and many milestones later, today we are a vibrant organization providing health and safety solutions to over 100 countries across the world. Through our 40 global offices and a workforce of over 3,500 employees, Karam Group is present in all continents through its local subsidiaries. And from a single product, we have now grown to over 3,000 products across all categories of personal protective equipment, that is head, ear, eye, face, workwear, hands, and shoes. Fall protection continues to be our pride, and we are the world's largest manufacturer of full body harnesses, retractable blocks, and fixed lights. This is particularly impressive if you consider that we are competing with Europe for quality and with China for prices. Last year, we launched Respiratory Safety and Healthcare division to serve the healthcare industry. A key factor in our success is the fully backward integrated manufacturing with the latest technology along with our in-house R&D and state-of-the-art testing labs. And finally, no matter where you are located, you will always find a Karam associate near you. With more than 200 distribution partners and over 350 sales associates, we are there to serve you and your workforce. Now, with that introduction, I invite our speaker for the day, Mr. Vishal Nigam, to present the technical session. Vishal completed his mechanical engineering from Purdue University in the United States and has been closely involved in the plant setup and production of disposable respirators right from the inception. So with that, over to you, Vishal.
Thank you for that lovely introduction, Lalita ma'am. I have been working at Karam for almost more than a year now. And I've been very lucky that I've been involved in the project of respiratory flat fall protection or mask since the inception of this project. I have been involved in the team that has set up all the plants that have arrived at our premises, but not only that, I've also been a part of the team that does all the development and the testing of our entire range. With that, it gives me immense pleasure to be standing here, well, actually sitting here on this platform in front of this wonderful audience, sharing whatever little knowledge and experience I have gained over the past 1 year. So let's begin. Allow me to share my screen. Just take a couple of minutes. So, back in the old days, when kings and soldiers fought in battle, they fought with swords and shields. Over time, as the enemies grew larger, weapons got more and more advanced. For the last many years in industries, the biggest enemies that we have faced have been solid particles such as dust and mist, or mainly I should say solid particles suspended in the air of a size greater than 2.5 microns. To fight these enemies, we've had a beautiful sword at our disposal. And that sword, for many years, has been the FFP1 mask. But the situation changed last year when the biggest enemy, yet the tiniest enemy of them all, arrived at our doorstep. I am talking about the COVID-19 coronavirus, with a particle size ranging from zero point 0.1 to just zero point 0.3 microns. But not to worry at all, because as always, Karam has the perfect solution for you. We have been offering you the sword, but now we have a machine gun in store for you. Presenting to you the machine guns, our Karam FFP2S and N95 masks. We have 4 models in this range. The first one, RF02 FFP2S mask with ear loops. Our second mask, RFH02 with a headband. And then our N95 range, our RF101 N95 mask with ear loops. And then the RFH101 N95 mask with a headband and an adjuster. From the looks of all these masks, you might ask the question that how is an FFP1 a sword and how are these masks a machine gun? Well, let me tell you all. The outermost layer for all the masks is the same. It is a water repellent layer or hydrophobic in nature. Why is it hydrophobic? So that any kind of liquids that are on the outer surface of the mask do not go through the mask and into your system. The innermost layer of the mask is a sweat absorbent, hydrophilic or water loving layer. Why is it water loving? It is because sweat can be built up, or any kind of liquids that come out of our mask can be quickly absorbed by this layer so that we do not face any kind of suffocation. So where does the game change exactly? The game changes on the inside, the middle layer of the mask, which is the actual filtering fabric, or commonly known as the filter of the mask. The filter has an internal structure like what we have shown you on the right. Now, when we talk about an FFP1 mask, the filter is such that the particulate filtering efficiency of the mask is greater than 80%. When we talk about the particulate filtering efficiency of our FFP2 mask, it is greater than 94%. And that for an N95 mask, as the name implies, is greater than 95%. Now, the next question that naturally comes is, what is this word? What is particulate filtering efficiency? For that, let us first take you to my regular morning regime, what I do in the morning. Every morning, I love treating myself to a nice cup of hot tea with loads of milk and loads of sugar inside it. The mixture of sugar in tea is what we call a solid in liquid solution. Much similar to that, to test the particulate filtering efficiency of our mask, we add common salt of the size 0.1 to, let's say, 1 micron. We mix it in water vapor and we create an aerosol. An aerosol, just like tea, is a solid in air solution. So let's say I have 100 milligrams of salt in my aerosol and I try to pass it through my mask. If not more than 6 milligrams of salt is able to pass through the mask, it means that my mask has an efficiency of 94%, and as per ISI standard 9473, it is an FFP2 mask. If we talk about an N95 mask, again, let's say I have 100 milligrams of salt in an aerosol. I try to pass it through the mask, and not more than 5 milligrams are able to pass through it. The mask has an efficiency of 95%, making it an N95 mask. Now, I know so many numbers in just such a short span of time can bore anyone. I won't bore you any further. We will take you to our factory where we will actually show you how this test is being performed on a highly sophisticated machine. We have a fixture on which we have our FFP2S mask. We place it on the machine, the sophisticated machine I was talking about. The nozzle comes down. We'll see a suction got created. That means an aerosol is trying to pass through. Our goal is the penetration should not be greater than 6%. Wow, it is just 0.34561%. Let's do this test once again and let's see what the result comes out. This is a beautiful machine made in America. It gives you the efficiency in just 10 seconds. Let's see what the efficiency comes down to this time. We retest our mask. 0.92658. There you go. With the penetration of less than 1%, our Karam mask has an outstanding filtering efficiency of almost 99%. At Karam, our goal is to protect lives. So our benchmark for making an FFP2 mask or an N95 mask is that our efficiency should be always greater than 98%. But then the natural question then comes out is, how exactly do we achieve it? What is it about these masks? For that, let me first explain a short term to you called electrostatic charging. This term takes me back to my class 4th physics book, in which a beautiful experiment said that if I comb my hair or if we rub a plastic ruler or a scale on the back of our heads and we have tiny bits of paper lying around, we bring the comb or the scale close to the bits, the scale or the comb attracts those pieces of paper towards it. Similarly, the inside layer of the mask, as we just mentioned, the filtering fabric, we ensure that it also has an electrostatic charge on it. Now, why is this electrostatic charge important? First, let us show you that same class 4th experiment, and this time we will have our Karam N95 mask and a cloth mask that we have bought from the market. Let's see how this experiment works. Here we have tiny bits of paper placed in a bin. That is our machine gun, the N95 mask. Now let's see if it is able to attract those pieces of paper. You can see it attracted quite a few pieces towards it. Now let us do the same experiment with the cloth mask. This is a very simple test. Almost all of us can do it sitting in our homes when we go and buy a mask. There you go. I wouldn't even call this, I'm calling the N95 a machine gun. I wouldn't even call this a water gun. Why is this electrostatic charge important? First, let me tell you guys, when an apple falls off a tree, or when Sir Ravindra Jadeja picks up a cricket ball and fires it towards the stumps, the tree and the ball go in the direction that the force has been applied on them. Why? It is because of their mass and their size. But have you ever noticed how a leaf falls off a tree? It goes in a zigzag direction. This movement of light particles is known as Brownian motion. Now imagine a virus of the size of 0.1 to 0.3 microns. It does not behave like an apple or like a ball. It behaves like a leaf falling off a tree. It can flow in almost any direction it wants to. With that being said, let me show you all the internal structure of a cloth mask and why it is not effective and why I call it a pichkari and not a machine gun. The internal structure of a cloth mask has vertical and horizontal yarns that are woven together. And when they are woven together, the spaces between the yarns are huge. That's why something like a virus can easily escape through a cloth mask, making it extremely unsafe for today's day and age. Talking about an FFP1 mask, you might say even an FFP1 mask has a pretty good filtering fabric inside. Then why is it not effective? The internal structure of the FFP1 mask is made such that it is able to filter out particles only greater than the size of 2.5 microns. Now let us talk about our machine gun. The internal fibers of the filtering fabric of the machine gun are so closely packed, they are so compact that even if a virus tries to escape through some of those spaces, the fibers have a strong electrostatic charge and they attract the virus immediately towards them and stopping you from getting any kind of infection. Let me also tell you all that this process of bombarding an electrostatic charge on the filtering fabric in itself is called corona charging. With that being said, now you guys know a lot about what a mask is. So let us break some of the common myths that are running around in the world. First of all, more layers in a mask means more protection. Completely false. Not true at all. For our Karam mask, we have just 5 layers, yet it is more breathable. It is able to filter out particles. What is most important in a mask is the presence of the filtering fabric. The filtering fabric, as you can see on the right. Increasing the number of layers only causes difficulty in breathing. So no point in going for a 7 layer or an 8 layer mask. The idea is to have the correct filtering fabric inside. And now you all know how to check if the filtering fabric is efficient. Point number 2, FFP2S and N95 masks are disposable and should not be washed. The filtering fabric that is inside the FFP2 and the N95 mask is a lot like, if you look at it, if you touch and feel it, it is a lot like a tissue paper. When we use a tissue paper after our hands are wet, we never reuse it. And this is the same reason why it is recommended that you must never wash these masks. Because the moment you wash them, you are literally destroying the filtering fabric, the fabric which will actually protect you. And not only that, let me tell you that the man who invented N95 mask himself has said that washing a mask not only means destroying the fabric, but also takes away all the electrostatic charge. I'm sure now we all know how important the charge is. Another point that is very interesting that I think we should share with each other is the fact that an N95 is disposable. Does not mean that you wear a mask for 10 minutes and it's time to throw it. Not at all. When you buy an FFP2 or an N95 mask, you can wear it for at least 12 to 14 hours. And let's say you wear it for 20 minutes and then you don't need to wear it. You can just put it back in your packaging or fold it in a nice tissue paper and keep it somewhere safe. It's after using it for 12 to 14 hours when you will realize that you face difficulty in breathing. And that is when you dispose of the mask. And the best part about our mask is that it is made up of completely recyclable material. Myth number 3. Now this one is my favorite, that exhalation valves are not filters. I'm sure we've all seen this little white thing on masks around us. First, let me tell you what a valve exactly is. When we wash our hands, I'm sure a lot of us do that a lot these days. When we open the tap, water only comes out in one direction. This is exactly what a valve does. A valve ensures that when you are breathing, the air that you breathe out is comfortably able to move out of the mask. And when you breathe in, the valve shuts, or you can say the knob of the tap closes. This is very important to know that when we are breathing in, the valve is shut. So any kind of virus, bacteria that is trying to enter our system goes through the filtering fabric. But the moment we breathe out, and if we have any kind of a virus or a bacteria inside us, we are causing a lot of danger to the people around us. So the exhalation valve isn't a filter. I would say during these times, it is a disaster, to be honest. Time for the next myth. A very common myth these days that, as Lalita ma'am also mentioned, that surgical masks are worn by doctors and should we not double mask them? Let me tell you one thing. When we wear a surgical mask, I'm sure a lot of us have done it, you will notice that there are spaces on your cheeks, sometimes on your chin or at the top of your nose. We all know how a virus travels by now. It doesn't travel like a ball, it doesn't fall like a tree. It doesn't fall off like an apple off a tree. So that's why when you wear a surgical mask, something like a virus can easily seeping through. That is also the reason why some people decided then why not wear a cloth mask over it. The problem doesn't get solved really, because even when you wear a cloth mask, you still leave a lot of spaces either on your cheeks or on your nose or on your chin. That's why even the Center of Disease Control and Prevention in the United States has also mentioned that double masking is not really effective. The best solution, I will repeat again, is the machine gun, the FFP2S and the N95 mask. When we at Karam were designing our mask, we are extremely thankful to our team because we had more than 300 volunteers. We all know that everyone has a different face geometry, different nose. They were all ready to donate their faces and ears so that ultimately we could come up with a perfect shape of a mask which avoided any kinds of leakage. Being said that about the face, the nose is a very funny organ, I would say. I myself, I would admit that I probably have the funniest nose on the planet. And because of that, we came out with our own design for the nose wire, which is rigid yet flexible enough to take up the shape of any kind of nose. With that being said, this is how we came up with this design of our mask to ensure that it has a perfect seal, on the entire contour of the face. The nose wire was made such that it can take up the shape of any kind of nose. We also observed one thing which was very crucial, that a lot of the masks in the market had a rubber or a latex elastic to them. Now, rubber is a natural product. So, having a latex or a rubber elastic can cause allergies to your ears, which is why we at Karam make our own elastic as well. And this elastic is strong yet is soft yet strong enough to ensure that when you are wearing a Karam mask, the mask doesn't slip out to avoid any kind of leakage. Now that we all know so much about the mask, let me tell you a very simple method to check if your mask is right when you're going to buy a mask in the market. The main thing that you can always look for when you're buying a mask is the presence of a certification. You must have seen this sign very commonly, the CE sign on a lot of our daily products. This means that the product is a European certified product. We have seen this logo as well. This is the certificate of the Bureau of Indian Standards, the ISI certificate. Similarly, the N95 is an American certification. You might find it on a lot of masks. And here is my favorite of them all, KN95, the Chinese certification. भाई जैसा चाइनीज खिलौना वैसा चाइनीज मास्क, ये मैं बता दूं. We have tested so many of these Chinese masks in our lab. Let me tell you, more than 90% of them don't even have a filtering fabric inside. So since this mask is made in China, we've tested them so much. I would suggest that during this age, a KN95 mask should be strictly avoided. As for the N95 and the CE certified mask, let me tell you all that in the past 1 year, the term coronavirus and N95 have been equally famous. So, what has happened is a lot of manufacturers, even cloth mask manufacturers, are just writing N95 on them without any verification. And this is why, for someone who's trying to buy a mask in India, I would still suggest that going for an uncertified N95 or a CE mask is a bit of a risk. But being in India, the best thing that we can do is buy an IS certified mask. Because sitting in India, we can check if the ISI certification is legit or not. When a manufacturer applies for an IS certification, you will notice that on the packaging or on the mask, above the ISI logo will be the standard IS 9473, and below that is the CML number. CML number, Mera Aadhaar, Meri Pehchan. It is a unique registration number that is given to an entity which claims that the government of India, the Bureau of Indian Standards, has approved that manufacturer for the making of the FFP1, FFP2, and FFP3 masks. Speaking of the ISI certification, it has a bunch of tests and really interesting tests, let me tell you. The first one, as we've already shown you, the particulate filtering efficiency test. At Karam, we have two of these machines to ensure that our readings are always correct. The second, there is a test where you test that the breathability of the mask is adequate to ensure that you don't have to breathe in and breathe out too hard. Thirdly, there is a dolomite dust test. Now, what this does is we all know that when we are wearing a mask, we could be out in the dust. So, the IS certification also ensures that in a dusty environment, the mask is working perfectly. I think by now we all know how important oxygen is. We breathe in oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide. IS 9473 also takes into consideration that the buildup of carbon dioxide while we are breathing out in the mask is kept to a bare minimum. Inhaling too much carbon dioxide, or I should say, breathing in too much carbon dioxide, can lead to a lot of medical problems such as arrhythmia and unconsciousness as well. Who doesn't love fire? But if you are wearing a mask close to a flame, the IS 9473 also ensures that your mask doesn't blow up when you're close to a fire. These are all the technical tests of the IS 9473. But here's what I love the most about the standard: it takes into consideration the practicalities and the ergonomics when you are wearing a mask, which is why you can see this picture. We have a treadmill in our testing lab where, when we are testing the mask, a user is made to walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes. Just imagine in industry, if a worker he does a lot of activities. So he could be walking, sharing a test report with maybe his manager. So all these things are taken into consideration in the IS 9473 standard. There is a walk test, there is a crawl test, there is also a test where you need to pick up small rubber chips, place them on a higher height. Why these tests are done is to ensure that when a user is wearing the mask, he's feeling all kinds of he does not feel any kind of discomfort, or you can also say that his vision is not being obstructed. His harness, or let's say his ear loops or the headband, is stiff enough and the mask does not slip out. So when you apply for the IS certification, an officer from the Bureau of Indian Standards comes and visits your factory. He ensures that you have all of this necessary test equipment in house. This has been a boon for us because this way we at Karam are able to ensure that every batch of mask that is created in our premises is tested before it reaches the end user. And that is why, presenting to you our badge of honor, we have been given a CML number, a registration number that says that we are a certified entity to make FFP2 mask, FFP1, FFP2, and FFP3 masks. You can always go to the Bureau of IS Standards website, check for the Karam CML number. Here, our number 8300137209. This is the unique identification number, unique only to Karam, which you can go and check if Karam has the actual certificate. All these points being said, let me remind us all once again that wearing an FFP1 mask means that the chances of a transmission of a virus can be up to 20%, but at the same time, wearing an FFP2 or an N95 mask, the chances of a virus being transmitted are down to just 2%. In places like factories, industries, hospitals, clinics, we all know by now that practicing social distancing can be a very difficult task. That's why in places like these, wearing a mask like an FFP2 or an N95 is very critical. We have reputed safety officers, channel partners, distributors, doctors, friends, and families sitting over here. We all know the situation currently our country is going through. The virus has mutated, taken on multiple shapes. It has not only entered our kingdoms, it has even entered our homes by now. So let us all get together. Saving our people, saving our workforces, our friends, our families isn't just a business anymore for us. It is our social responsibility. So let's pick up these machine guns that Karam has to offer and fight off this virus once and for all. I thank you all. I humbly thank you all for joining us in this presentation. The floor is now open to any questions you might have. Over to you, Lalita ma'am.
Thank you very much, Vishal, for that very, very engaging presentation. Personally, I didn't think it was easy to, convert technical facts into such easy to understand language. Thank you. We really enjoyed the experiments that you did, and personally, I found it. I had an aha moment when I saw the filtering efficiency right up to 99%. Great. So I take this opportunity to welcome our other panelists. We are just about to begin our question and answer. And I would also, meanwhile, like to have your feedback, the audience feedback on the session so far. So could I please request that poll be published, and all of you kindly do give in your feedback to us in the poll option. You'll notice a yellow dot at the poll option on the right hand side. Kindly let us know your feedback. Right. So I would now take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Rajesh Nigam, founder and president technical of Karam Safety. He completed engineering in material sciences from IIT Kanpur in the year 1991, and now he oversees the production operations, innovation, and R&D. So he is the metal and the webbing and all the physical products that you see. Well, Mr. Rajesh Nigam is the brain behind that. Welcome to the session, Mr. Nigam.
Thank you.
Our other panelist is the National Sales Head, Mr. Asif Iqbal, also an engineer with an illustrious track record of over 20 years in sales and marketing of personal protective equipment. Welcome to the panel, Mr. Iqbal.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So we already have quite a lot of questions waiting here, and I will start from the beginning. Some of them have already been answered during the presentation by Mr. Vishal Nigam. And just allow me to go through them and start sharing them with you. So I hope the questions related to whether or not you need to double mask, what are the new masks launched for COVID by Karam, I think all of them have been answered. Now, Mr. Vinay Duggal from Tata Motors and Ms. Vidya Soundarajan from WWF both have a similar concern, so I'll club their questions. Is your range of N95 masks reusable and washable? And Ms. Vidya says that we do understand COVID is a calamity, but we don't want to create a bigger calamity in the world. So, is there any way that these can be re-sanitized and maybe reused? So, Rajesh sir, could you please take both of these questions together?
Yeah, so the issue over here is there is no way you can reuse these masks because, again, the filtering material inside does not have the kind of strength that you can wash it, right? The good thing about this mask is, if I'm saying it's not reusable, it doesn't mean you can wear it, you cannot wear it multiple times. You can wear it 7 times, 8 times, 10 times. Just that because it is a filtering material, you have to understand that the mask is a filter, right? And over a long period of usage, what happens, the particles, the particulate matter outside starts choking the filter. It's very similar. Whenever you take your car to a service station, the first thing he does is that he cleans the air filter of your car or he changes it. He cleans the fuel filter of your car and changes it, right? So it's the same with the mask. The longer you use it, eventually the filtering material will get choked. And I mean, as a general estimate, we say 11 to 12 hours. Depends on the kind of environment you are in. If you are in a very low dust particulate matter percentage, then probably you could extend it to 16, 17 hours. You yourself will come to know that, your mask is getting choked and you'll start getting some breathing issues compared to what you were having with the new mask. That's the time when you realize that you have to change it. So
right, thank you so much.
I don't know any technology as of now where you can filter a 0.1 micron particle and you can wash it also. So there is nothing like that which is existing in the world, unfortunately.
Right. So we do keep hearing of a lot of UV based filters, which can decontaminate. But the fact is that the pores get clogged, as you said, and the filtration still doesn't happen. We also need to look at the breathing comfort. Now, I see a lot of questions here related to where is the FFP2 or N95 Karam available? What is the pricing? The number of pieces? Asif sir, would you like to just take these questions, please?
Sure. Definitely. It's very important from where you can source it, the industries, the individuals. We have all the options. For our industrial people, we have more than 150 authorized distributors spread across India from where it can be sourced. So you can say every city has a distributor from where you can procure the material. Coming to the individuals, we have a stockist in major cities of India, and they are the ones who are supplying to the chemist shop also. So those materials are available in the chemist shops also, as in the form of K-Air. K-Air is the brand which is called K-Air, Karam K-Air brand. So that is also available over there. You can connect with us individually, or there is a toll-free number on the website. We can also get in touch with you to where specific from where you can source it. That is number one. And about second question was, Lalita ma'am.
A lot of people are also saying, how do I know if it's a genuine Karam mask or not?
Okay, so if it's a genuine Karam mask or not, you can easily find out. There is a barcode which you can. There is an app, Karam Genuine app, which you can scan it, and you can find whether the material is genuine or not. You can also get it from the authorized distributors. There you are 100% sure it will be a genuine product.
Right. Thank you so much. May I request those of you who have specifically maybe commercial inquiries in mind, you could also please join us at the lounge and at the booth. At the booth, you will see some of our marketing material related to the masks that Vishal just showed. We also have a table for technical discussion and a virtual table for sales discussion. Similarly, you can go to the lounge area, and our Karam associates are waiting there at the tables, and they will be very happy to answer all your queries and also have a one-on-one interaction. So we are here till the time we solve all your answers, whether it's related to technical or to the non-technical queries. Right. So, Mr. Roshan, I think your question related to exhalation valve is already answered. Mr. Rajiv Kumar Price, I just shared, kindly visit the booth or the lounge for clarity on that. Now, one moment, there are a lot of questions popping up. You'll have to be a little patient with me. Very interesting question. Someone wants to know, how do I know if I'm wearing the mask correctly or not? Because there was so much emphasis on the fitment. So very valid question. Vishal, would you like to answer that?
Absolutely. So one common practice that a lot of us do is when we wear the mask, you can first of all adjust the nose wire. You can make sure that the mask is completely, sealing all the edges, and you can just blow out easily. So when you blow out, you can feel that there is any kind of leakage. That's when you can adjust the nose wire. Usually in our mask, the outer contour is a perfect seal, but the only place where you can experience a leakage could be on the tip of the nose. So that's when you know that now you must adjust the nose wire. And as I said, it is rigid but flexible enough.
Great. Thank you so much for that. Now there's a question by Mr. Neeraj Sharma, and he wants to know that N95 mask is available with the valve. I think the bigger question here could be that when we are recommending not to have the valves at all, why are Karam variants available in valves? So Rajesh sir, would you like to clarify that?
All right. So basically, as a mask manufacturer, we have to make all the options available because there are different industries. For the information of the gentleman who asked this question, now there are applications where you have to use an FFP3 mask, which has a very high breathing resistance. So the breathing resistance is so high that if you don't have a valve over there, it's impossible for you to survive wearing that mask. So as a manufacturer, we are supposed to make everything that a customer needs. Now, coming to the specific situation that has been created in last 1 year, which is COVID, of course. In COVID, a valved mask is not considered good. Simple reason, as was explained by Vishal, that it's flow in one direction. So when I am wearing a mask, it is not because that I want to protect only myself, right? If the air that is coming into my mask is filtered 95-98%, then even the air which I am exhaling out is filtered 95 to 98%, which means if I'm wearing let's say an N95 mask, my probability of contaminating a person standing next to me is only 5%. If I am wearing a mask, the moment you wear a valved mask, what happens? That you've completely destroyed that. Your contaminated air, your virus-borne air, if I am corona infected, is very easily going out of my mask, and the possibility of me contaminating the other person goes up to 100% straight away. So
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting point. I think the masks have been present for decades now, and the key thing was they were meant to protect us from dust hazards. Pathogen-based hazards is something at a mass level we are only seeing in the last 1 year. So yes, the valve continue to give us breathing comfort. Now there were a lot of questions actually related to how the sweat actually interferes. Does it break down the layer? Does it have any impact on the electrostatic layer losing its charge? How many hours maximum do you think somebody could wear in a highly humid, high sweaty environment? Basically, correlation between a lot of sweat being absorbed and any difference in performance of the mask. Rajesh sir, would you like to answer that question?
All right. So I'll take that. You see, we have to understand one thing. Now, I'll break this question into two parts. The first question was, we have a sweat absorbent layer of material inside that comes directly in contact with your skin. The idea is that when I'm wearing a mask and I'm sweating, this sweat needs to be absorbed by this layer. If it is not absorbed, then you start feeling very irritated. It's going to trouble you. It's going to somehow cause some discomfort to you. Now, the second important thing is, once this sweat goes into my first layer, my innermost layer, it should not go further into my filtering material, because if it goes there, the chances of that it's losing electrostatic charge, it's reducing its particulate efficiency is there. So in Karam mask, we normally have one more layer after that, which actually prevents it from crossing that boundary line and getting into our filtering material. Right. So that's the first part that's taken care of. The second part of the question, how many hours can I wear it? You see, the good thing in nature is, and particularly in a filtering mask, is you are constantly breathing in and breathing out, inhaling and exhaling. So the beauty with this inhalation and exhalation is similar to a fan. If you want to dry your clothes, what do? You put a fan and you put your wet cloth in front of it, it dries quickly. So the beauty is that even if the sweat is coming, it dries up very soon, because constantly air is being flowing into both the directions on the body of the mask, right? So we've done some experiments on that in humid conditions, and we've seen people can comfortably wear it for 8 hours, 10 hours without any, for sure they would like to remove it for a few seconds in between, or maybe 2-3 minutes to relax themselves, have lunch or tea, whatever. So I have never seen any problem as such, whereas longevity in wearing of the mask is concerned, really.
Okay. Thank you so much. So a lot of questions are actually coming around, industrial workers or industrial people having to wear safety goggles and fogging up. A very, very real situation where you have to wear safety for your eyes, and you have to also wear, obviously, respiratory safety. And fogging up happens, either you remove your safety glasses or you remove your mask. In either case, you are unsafe. So any particular feature that Karam mask has that could counter that? Rajesh sir, over to you again.
All right. So again, as Vishal mentioned, it's all about the feeling over here. Because when we experience fogging on the glass, it's from here that the air leaks out. Now, since it is moisture laden, it's leaking out, it goes onto your industrial eyewear and causes fogging over there. So we have to really train our workforce so that they ensure that they are properly sealing this part with the nose wire on top of it. So, I guess we've made some videos also on how to adjust the nose wires. We can send it out to our customers, educate them more on this. If the sealing is proper, then the possibility of fogging gets minimized. I wouldn't say it becomes zero, honestly speaking. Then the best solution I would suggest to my customers, my industrial workers, would be to use anti-fog models of Karam goggles. So once you use the anti-fog model, you're completely out of it.
Thank you so much. That was, of course, a very valid suggestion, because if fogging indeed is a problem, then of course we also need to look at, can I improve my safety goggles to ensure there's no fogging? Right. So there's a question which is to do with why melt blown layer is absent in Karam 3-ply masks. And there's another one which is related to, again, melt blown fabric. But sir, could you please answer that meanwhile? Why is melt blown?
All right. So I don't know from where this question has come in, because melt blown fabric is the filtering fabric actually. So there is no question that we don't have melt blown fabric. All our masks essentially have the melt blown fabric. Melt blown fabric is the fabric that is electrostatically charged. The experiment which Vishal did and showed was attracting electrostatic charging. It was because we have a melt blown fabric which is charged. Now, from the gentleman who's asked this question, I would like to inform him that we are the only company in India, I repeat, we are the only company in India which manufactures our own melt blown fabric plant, or melt blown fabric also. So we are the only unique ones in the country. All the other competitors, I would not like to name anybody, they all buy melt blown fabric from different sources in the world. Karam is the only company which is making this melt blown fabric in India. Simple and straight reason, as we have done in fall protection and head protection everywhere, making everything on our own, to have a full control and command on quality. So I don't want to go into the details, because if you talk to me, I can talk for ages on this. But let me tell you, the beauty of the melt blown fabric which Karam is making on its own, with the same filtering efficiency, we give you a much better breathing resistance. So we've worked on different combinations of material, process controls. And let me tell you, the research is still on. I mean, I'm directly involved with the team, in almost one day in a week. We are constantly researching on this. I put my full 1 day in a week into this, just to increase, the pleasure of breathing. It's actually decreasing the breathing resistance. So we are still working on it. Currently, what we are giving you is much better than whatever other competitors are giving. But I'm still very, very, very sure and very confident that it will keep on improving in the coming times, and I don't know when we are going to stop that.
Fantastic, sir. So now that you mentioned about breathing, the pleasure of breathing, there are a lot of questions related to, if I wear mask for maybe 12 hours every day, do my lungs get affected? One gentleman mentioned that when he wears the masks and goes for his morning walk, it begins to cause him a little discomfort. Another question is related to, is there a deficiency in the oxygen concentration in the breathing zone? So I can see a lot of questions related to this oxygen concentration or buildup of carbon dioxide. So Rajesh sir, I would request you to take that, please.
All right. So we do a lot of testing on this in our labs. So I have some very interesting data to share with you guys. Now, under normal working conditions, I mean, you're driving home, you're sitting in the office, you're doing some light movement activity, working on a shop floor, it's fine, absolutely fine. You can wear the mask continuously for 8 hours, 10 hours. You will not feel that problem of clogging at all, right? I wouldn't say clogging, problem of suffocation, right? What happens actually when we are exercising in our morning walks or jogs or cardio and whatever? We have to understand one thing, that I also read in the newspaper about an accident and somebody died wearing a mask on the treadmill, probably that, what was that? So we have to understand that when we are exercising, our heart rate goes, somewhere higher than 120 beats per minute. So we have to understand that as the heart rate goes, similarly, the pumping of oxygen also increases, right? So your lungs are doing a much faster and a much better job. So what are your lungs actually doing? They are breathing in oxygen and they are throwing out carbon dioxide. So if they are taking in more oxygen, they are giving out more carbon dioxide. So the accumulation of carbon dioxide inside a mask, there is a very, very high probability So the first thing that, when a lockdown occurs, the first thing they close all the gyms. Why? There is a lot of possibility of, passing on the infection over there.
Yes.
You cannot request the person who is working on a treadmill or on a recumbent bike to do it without a mask. So my very strong recommendation, whenever we are playing a sport, all the cricketers you see, we've been watching IPL, when they come in the bus, they are all wearing their masks. The moment they enter into the field, have we seen anybody wearing a mask? If I have to run for 3 runs, if I have to take, believe me, if I'm wearing a mask, I'll fall down after 2 runs. So your activity goes so high, your heartbeat goes so high, your lungs are working with, your normal heartbeat is, let's say 60 to 70 beats per minute, and you've taken it to double, which means you're breathing in more oxygen, at the same time you're exhaling out more carbon dioxide. So the built-up of carbon dioxide, right? Vishal showed you a test where we had a treadmill in our company. This is exactly what we do. But there is a limit to it. After a particular speed, we don't increase it. Because we are trying to make ourselves as close to a worker who is working in the factory. Now, when I'm working in a shop floor, let's say on an assembly line or any operation I'm doing, I'm actually not doing something like an exercise. If 8 hours I have to do what I do half an hour in the morning, it's impossible. Virat Kohli also probably doesn't practice so much. He would probably do exercise an hour in the morning or half an hour in the evening. So we have to be very, very careful. While doing exercise, my strong recommendation, we shouldn't be wearing masks.
Thank you so much for that very, very detailed answer, sir. So I think there are a few people who are very curious about the 3-ply mask. Asif sir, would you like to answer that question? People are very curious to know about 3-ply masks. I'm sure it will.
Yes, definitely. 2 things. First, I'll talk about 3-ply mask. Karam, we have come out with a 3-ply mask, which is normally called a surgical mask. So that we have already, rolled out, and very soon it will be available with our distributors at various places in India. And I'm glad to tell you this is also a BIS certified surgical mask, what we are offering. And as our flat fold mask you have seen, there are a lot of difference with the current mask what is available. This also has some unique features, unique things. So it will be a pleasure for you to use it. So this will be very soon available in the market, and our sales team will get in touch with you. We have all the names of the people. We'll send across a mailers to all of you as soon as it is available in the market. Now, Lalitha ma'am, there is one more question which I'm seeing in Q&A constantly coming. It's related to sales. So they are asking about online, actually, whether these masks are available online or not. Particularly individual people nowadays, people are at house, they want to order it. They cannot go out. Yes, it is available online at the Amazon also. There is a Karam online portal, KOP it is called, Karam online portal. You have to go to karamonline.com, and there you can directly place your order, and it will be shipped out from our factory directly to your home by a courier, fastest courier it will go. So that is one thing. Amazon, we have a brand store. In case you have a trouble, go to our brand store on Amazon site and select your product and order it. So that also, by that way also you can get these products.
Thank you so much, Asif sir. Actually, there were a lot of questions related to specific cities where people are looking for our masks. So I'm so glad you answered that. Just a request to the audience, please do not leave the forum after the Q&A. The sales associates of Karam, we are waiting for you at the booth and at the lounge for any specific queries that you might have. Okay, now there is again a lot of questions related to, I'll club, at least there are 6 questions related to, so if I'm wearing a mask for maybe 1 or 2 hours, and how should I store it, and what is the earliest I can wear it? What are the kind of good practices, because people may not go out every day in the lockdown situation, but they may need to wear it for a couple of days, couple of hours every day. So how should they treat the mask in between and make sure that, they sort of also wear it till its natural life, which is at least 12 to 14 hours of cumulative usage? Rajesh sir, could you please answer that?
All right. So, it's simple. Whenever I'm wearing a mask, I'll make it easy. What are we actually doing? We are trying to resist the corona particles to get inside our mask and then get into our mouth or the nose, right? Which means there is a high probability that if I've worn a mask for 3 hours, or let's say 2 hours, there's a high probability that there would be corona particles, sitting outside my mask. So my mask is now my most dangerous, article in my hand. It is indeed a machine gun. It can backfire also, right? So now what I have to do the moment I get into my house, I have to make sure that I either wrap this into a tissue paper or have a proper place where I just quietly remove it and hang it, right? These days we are getting a lot of wonderful surface disinfectors. So one ideal way is to have a UV stabilizer, and then you just go put into it 10 minutes or 5 minutes and you take it out, it's completely sanitized. All the virus is killed, right? That's not something which all of us can afford in our houses. So what I normally do, I have a Savlon surface disinfector. So inside the powder toilet of my house, I have a nail at considerable height. The moment I enter, I remove my mask, hang it over there, and just sanitize it with the surface sanitizer. And then I know that I have to wear it after maybe next day morning. So next day morning, comfortably, you are wearing it again.
Right.
So you have to be very, very careful in handling your mask if you are repeatedly removing. We normally give you a nice packing where you can put the mask back into the packing again and zip it, just sanitize your hands, keep it in a safe area. It shouldn't be lying on the side of your bed or on the side of your sofa so that you touch it again and you again get contaminated. So that's the only care that you have to take.
Right. So there's a very interesting question again, two questions which I'll club together. Someone is saying, if I'm corona positive, should I still wear my mask for 14 hours at a stretch? And someone said that if I sneeze or cough into my mask, should I continue to wear it and for how long? So I think this is also a real scenario where there's a lot of COVID viral load, as we call it, the viral load which is building in, probably compared to a normal usage, where you are probably a healthy individual compared to someone who's sneezing or coughing into the mask or is corona positive. Rajesh sir, any thoughts on that?
Right. So if I am corona positive and what I'm already infected, we have to understand one thing. And the best way I can, spread this disease or spread this, the only way is through the solid, the liquid aerosol that comes out of my mouth, because that's what carries the corona virus on it. So the good thing is that if I'm wearing the mask, again, it's working as a filter. Even if I cough, what happens? My filtering material will trap the corona particle and will not allow it to go outside to, again, infect somebody else. Right? Having said that, you have to wear it, have to wear your mask if you're quarantined, for example. You have to wear your mask as soon as somebody enters into your room, or you have to open the room and collect your food or anything, because that is the only time when you can infect somebody. Otherwise, if you're resting in the room alone, you can comfortably take off your mask. There is no problem. Right. See, we have to understand that the maximum distance I can throw my that liquid aerosol from my cough or from my, let's say, even talking, as a matter of fact, is 2 meters. That's it. So if I'm quarantined, that's why they quarantine you in a room. So if you're in a room and you're alone, so maximum 2 meters you can throw all the corona that you have inside your body. That's why they say, if any attendant enters into your room, he must be, masked up properly. He should wear gloves. The moment he goes out, he should be wearing goggles. There are only 3 places of your body from where the corona particle can enter: eye, nose, and mouth. That's it. If we can protect these 3 things comfortably, so that's why they say, wash your hands frequently. I would say wash your hand before you touch any of these 3 things, before you eat food, before you touch them. Actually, mask protects these two, but it doesn't protect your eye. So eye is not something that we very frequently go and massage, or we go and put our finger into it. So we are pretty good with that if we are wearing a mask and we're not touching our eyes.
Right.
I hope that answers.
You did, sir. We have still a lot of questions waiting to be answered, and it's really encouraging. We still have about 450 people in the session here. Virtually, no one has left so far, which is very encouraging. I would also like to thank you and personally acknowledge a lot of you who have left very, very encouraging comments in the chats and in the Q&A. And we really hope that with your blessings, we continue to roll out products that protect the safety of not just the workers, but also our families. I mean, mask is something that all of us are using for ourselves, our children, our parents, family, and friends. We really hope that your good wishes, keep on encouraging us to launch such products. Sir, I'll try and club questions together in the interest of time, and if I could request you to answer them in brief. So there are a lot of questions around how to dispose a used mask. There are a lot of HSE people here who obviously for them it is an important parameter not to add to the environmental load. So there are a lot of people who are asking how to safely dispose a used mask.
All right. So the good news over here is that the mask that we are producing in Karam is completely recyclable. So the next question is how to dispose it off. So what we normally recommend, the moment you are through with your mask, the first thing you do is you break the elastic of the mask so that nobody else reuses it by mistake, by chance. Then the best way is to wrap it in a tissue paper or something and quietly dispose it off in a dustbin, which is dedicated for this purpose only. Particularly in the industries, I think we can very easily manage it. Even in houses, we can manage easily. That's not an issue if we have a dedicated dustbin. So we have to understand that the life of a corona particle is not more than 48 hours. Within 48 hours, it will automatically die. So if we can somehow make a system that we collected everything in one bin and then left it for 48 hours on its own, disposed it to whatever disposal method we have, whatever we are disposing is at least not corona infected and it is not going to spread the disease, then automatically it will go to the recycler because they have a system of sorting things and it will be taken care of. And then we have a second bin which we keep filling. The moment this is full, again we wait for 48 hours before we dispose it off. So it's simple, but it needs a little bit of effort, I would say.
Right. Thank you so much. Now, Asif sir, I'll pose this next question to you. There are a few questions related to the shelf life of the mask.
Yeah.
So you could just answer that one.
Yes, the shelf life of the mask is around 3 years. That is 3 years. Of course, it has to be in a kept in a proper control condition. It can be, used up to 3 years.
Okay, great. Okay, Vishal, next question is to you. There are quite a few questions that have come up related to how effective is an N95 or FFP2 mask for people with facial hair, that is the beard. So I will specifically put it to you. Do you think it compromises somewhere the effectiveness?
So the ideal method for wearing an FFP2 and an N95 mask is to be clean shaved. That is true. Having facial hair, what it does is does the same thing as a surgical mask does. It causes leakage. You are opening up spaces. The coronavirus is extremely tiny, so it can easily work in through your mask. But let's say if you have the RFH101 mask that we have, it has an adjuster on it. So if let's say you really love your beard, I had to remove mine, but if you really love your beard, you should go for that mask. Tighten the elastic as much as you can to ensure that there's no leakage. And again, blow out and check if there's any kind of leakage.
Okay. So Vishal, I do understand you have been homebound, working from home for the last month and a half. So we will, probably accept your very good-looking beard. But I think when you go back to the factory, there is no hope in hell. You're going like this, okay? All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now there are a lot of questions related to double masking. Is it effective? What you should layer it with? Do I need to notch my N95 masks? I'll just answer it in short. It is something which is very, very recent. one sort of one sort of a mailer sent out by diseases Center for Disease Control US, which has gone viral. Nobody has enough, in fact, actually measured the efficiency of this double masking. It's still conjectures. This whole pandemic is so new. Everybody is still figuring out what's the best way to do. And it's like, okay, so if you don't have an N95, again, I'm talking in context of US. In India, as we just saw, FFP2 does the job extremely well. But either of these two, if you have N95 or FFP2, there is absolutely no need to double mask, and there is no need to notch it up, because the construction of the mask is such, it gives you 100% fitment. So my request is that related to double masking, we have not conducted any tests. It's all just guidance which is coming up, and it would not be right for us to comment on that. Well, I think we have pretty much answered most of the questions. I'm so sorry, we had almost 150 questions. A lot of them were repeated. I was trying to club. In case I've missed out on anything, please do pardon me. Um, Asif sir, there is a very interesting question. Mr. Bhavesh wants to know that if you are directly sending your masks to end users, then why do you even need dealers and distributors and channel partners? So he wants to know that, well, if you are planning to sell it on Amazon, then why do you have channel partners? I can see where this is coming from, so you're the right person to answer that.
Yes, Mr. Bhavesh. Actually, there are two kind of businesses. If you see, one is the industrial business, and one is the individual people, actually, who are procuring things for them, who are procuring in ones, twos, that way. Now, these Amazon and the Karam online portal, they are for these individual people, and actually they are doing this only. Industrial people, our packaging is totally different. If you see our packaging for industrial, for retail, they are totally different, actually. So Amazon is for individuals, and industrial, it is through channel partners. Now, it is very important for industries, to get the material as quickly as possible, and you people are the support factors in that, sir. So you have been supporting us, quickly delivering the material to them all over India.
Thank you so much, Asif sir. Ms. Shivangi, I see your comment. I completely understand. A doubling of masks from last year is happening by the nurses on COVID care. So saying it's not effective, it's contradicting. Ms. Shivangi, I did not intend to say anything about the effectiveness. All I meant is it's not right for us to comment on that, because we have not conducted any test. As you noticed, fitment is a very, very important factor. So while yes, when there was short supply of masks, everybody tried double masking or whatever they could in order to ensure that they had protection. But since even in double masking we cannot be sure of the fitment around the face, we do not know what will be the ultimate filtration. So that was the context of my answer.
So Lalita, I'll just quickly interrupt over here. So you see, if you are doing double masking, we have to understand one thing. As I told, mask is a filter. It has a breathing resistance. What are you exactly doing when you are putting two masks together? You are increasing the breathing resistance of the mask to 2 times, which means you are getting all the more problems in breathing. And at the same time, there's hardly any improvement in filtering efficiency of the mask. Now, today I met one of my doctor friends. I had to go for a test. He was wearing 2 masks. I told him, aren't you feeling suffocated? He said, no, I'm absolutely fine. So I took off both his masks, cut them with a scissor, and I was surprised to know that none of the masks had filtering material inside at all. Now, if he wears 5 masks also, he will not have any problem in breathing at all. So if you are buying and using the right genuine mask, if you double it, believe me, you are asking for trouble, because your breathing resistance is going to double. You will immediately start facing breathing problem. I don't want to comment because it has come in from US using 2 masks, but be assured that the number of masks you increase, you leave it to us. Where it is required, we will put more layers of filtering material, and we will make sure that we are giving you the right breathing resistance. You just need one N95 or an FFP2S mask. That's it. It gives you all the protection that you need. More than that is not required.
Thank you very much, sir. I think somewhere we do not pay adequate attention to the breathing resistance, because as a user, if I have to wear it for a couple of hours and I'm beginning to feel breathing resistance, I will tend to take it off for just a couple of breaths, and that itself compromises the safety. So, very good answer that you gave. Thank you so much. Now, there was a question which said, what current model of face mask should someone wear who's suspected of COVID-19? So I think Rajesh sir just mentioned FFP2 or N95, both are equally effective. It's just 1%, which is just a numerical difference. As you saw, Karam masks actually has 99% filtration efficiency. Our internal benchmark is 98%, which is way higher than both N95 and FFP2. So please be rest assured that you're getting adequate protection when you use any of these masks. Okay, so there are two questions which have come in specifically for use in oil industries. Wherever there is a heavy, there's Mr. Ranjan Sheikh from Tata Motors who wants to know what is the duration for use where there's oil fumes. So, Asif sir, would you like to take that question, please?
I think I'd like to Rajesh sir, if you can.
Okay, Rajesh sir, would you like to say?
All right. So
oil and acid fumes. Mr. Deepak Kumar also has a similar question.
So Deepak sir, right now we have this range of masks for you, which you can use. But the good news for you is that we are very shortly, we are almost through with all our developments and testing and everything. I can't promise when we are going to launch it. We are making a special mask, which is to be used particularly where you have organic vapors, right? But when I'm talking of organic vapors of oil also are included in that. So when we will launch this mask for you, we will actually show you, we'll put a drop of oil and we'll show you that it doesn't get inside the mask at all. It just coagulates on the top and falls off. So we are already through with all the development. We have done all the R&D, the final samples we have made, we have tested them very well. And very shortly, we will be bringing this onto the market. This will be a very good weapon for the paint industry as well, because they are also suffering from a lot of organic vapor.
Right. So there is a question which is related to saying there's apparently Mr. Neeraj Dubey says that there's a government circular saying that N95 is not effective on COVID and not advisable. Could you please throw some light? And he specifically asked you this question. Could you please answer that, sir? I mean, is there any circular that we may have come across, or do you feel there is a basis to this circular?
I have never heard of anything like this, honestly speaking, so far.
Mr. Devidas, if you could you please just share that with us separately, and we will be happy to just look into it. Right. Mr. Devidas from Nestle, he has a question. Probably there's some confusion. He says he interpreted your answer earlier, Rajesh sir, as that people with COVID probably should not, with breathing difficulties, people with COVID and breathing difficulties should not be using an N95 or FFP2 mask. He's just asking you to clarify that.
So I think there's some confusion somewhere. Probably I didn't communicate it well. No, not at all. This is the safest mask to use in any condition. Absolutely.
Okay. I think Rajesh sir was saying when such a person is alone, sort of self-isolated in the room, then perhaps he need not wear, and perhaps just opening the doors and windows for free flow of air suffices. Right. So again, there's a question saying, can senior citizens use our mask in domestic life? So you'll be very surprised the number of queries that we've got for individual uses is actually quite a lot. So it's very interesting. So he wants to know if senior citizens can also use this particular mask.
Sure. Why not?
Okay, sure. So, okay, now very interesting question by Mr. Sujit of Apollo Tires. Are we having masks for children, and by when?
This is also under development, and I'm not able to promise any date as of now, but it's there on cards for sure. Yes.
Right. So a lot of development still happening. We launched this last year, and it's a lot of things are still under development, and we are trying to create further variants, certifications. All are very important. Karam never launches any product without adequate certification, so that of course means a great deal for us. Now, so as Mr. Neelab wants to ask you specifically, Mr. Asif, how should Karam healthcare facilities prioritize the use of mask? So I'm
Sorry, I could not get it. If you can explain it.
So he's asking, how does Karam Healthcare Facilities prioritizes the use of masks?
If it can be more clarified, Mr. Nilab.
Nilab sir, could you please just rephrase your question?
Please.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. So I think we are largely done. Of course, so there is Mr. Amol Venkat Rao from Zamil Construction. He says on the Amazon, masks available with ear loop only. When will we see the masks with full strap? Asif sir, any timelines for that?
Yes. Very soon you'll see all because it was there already. So when it finishes the product, it's not there. So automatically that goes off. So it will very soon you'll see it. I'll make it sure that all the variants are there and all the colors as well.
Right, sir. I think we've done with almost all the questions, and now I would request all our. Thank you so much, Mr. Ramjan. I really appreciate all of you. Giving us such encouraging remarks and such encouraging feedback. We really appreciate you sitting almost way past 1 hour of scheduled session and taking such deep interest in our products. Thank you very much. We hope to continue to serve you. Right. So once again, thank you to all the panelists and the speaker as well for a very, very engaging session today and for such in-depth queries. Now we welcome all of you to join us at one of the tables in the booth or at the lounge. You could just click back, go to the reception and click on the top right. You will notice a tab for lounge and the booth. You could enter either of them and we will meet you there. We already have our technical team as well as our sales team waiting to interact with you. So as I mentioned earlier, it's only possible if you've logged in through your laptop or desktop, that option would be available to you. So please do that and we look forward to seeing you there. And we also, just in case you're in a hurry, but you want us to get in touch with you, please go to the booth and there is a button there by the name of register your interest. So you just have to click on it and our customer care team will get in touch with you next week, right? So thank you very much once again. And we hope that you all stay safe and you continue to patronize Karam. Thank you once again. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.